My son is 5 years old. About 3 months ago, he started talking about his imaginary friend, a boy named Edgar, who lived in the walls and only came out at night. I thought nothing of it. Kids have imaginary friends. It's healthy, it's normal, it's imaginative. Then, last Tuesday, I found small, bloody handprints on the inside of my son's closet wall. Too small to be an adult's, too large to be my son's. And when I asked him about them, he looked at me very seriously and said, "That's where Edgar comes in from. He told me not to tell you. He said you'd make him go away." And Mommy, Edgar really doesn't want to go away.
My name is Diane. I'm 32 years old and I'm a single mother. My son Noah is 5. He is the brightest, most creative, most warm-hearted child I have ever known, and I am not saying that simply because I am his mother. His teachers say it. Every adult who spends time with him says it. He is a child who notices things, who asks questions, who has an inner world so vivid and detailed it sometimes takes my breath away. Which is why I was not alarmed when Edgar appeared. It started in early September. Noah came home from his first week of kindergarten quieter than usual, not sad, just internal, processing the enormous new experience of school. That weekend he told me he had a friend. I asked who. He said Edgar. I asked if Edgar was from school. Noah shook his head. Edgar doesn't go to school, he said. Edgar lives in my room. I smiled. I asked what Edgar looked like. He's a boy, Noah said. But older than me. He has dark hair and he's very thin and he doesn't talk very much, but when he does he knows a lot of things. I noted the specificity. Imaginary friends with detailed physical descriptions are common in bright children, and thought nothing more of it. Over the following weeks Edgar became a regular presence in Noah's conversation. He set a place for Edgar at breakfast sometimes, which I allowed. He asked me once if Edgar could have a pillow, which I also allowed. A small cushion placed in the corner of his room that Noah pointed to as Edgar's spot. It was all completely standard imaginative play. I looked it up. I read articles. Imaginary friends in children aged 3 to 7 are developmentally normal and often associated with higher creativity and social intelligence. Edgar was fine. Edgar was healthy. Edgar was good for Noah. That was what I believed until the 3rd week of October. Noah had a nightmare on a Thursday night. I heard him cry out around 2 a.m. and went to his room. He was sitting up in bed, wide-eyed, not fully awake yet, that half-conscious distressed state children get where they're upset but not sure why. I sat with him and rubbed his back and asked what he dreamed about. Edgar was sad, he said. Edgar was crying. I asked why Edgar was sad. Noah looked at me with that particular seriousness that 5-year-olds deploy when they want you to understand something important. Because he can't get out, he said. He keeps trying and it hurts him. I kissed his forehead and told him Edgar was okay and that it was just a dream. Noah nodded and lay back down and was asleep within minutes. I stood in his doorway for a while after that. Not afraid, not then. Just struck by the vividness of it. The idea of an entity that hurts itself trying to reach you. It was a very specific kind of sadness for a 5-year-old to dream. 2 weeks later I found the handprints. I was reorganizing Noah's closet on a Saturday afternoon while he was at his grandmother's. It's a decent-sized closet with a low shelf along the back wall where I keep his extra bedding. I was pulling things off the shelf when I noticed something on the back wall of the closet. Low down. Near the baseboard. Almost hidden by the shelf itself. Handprints. Small. Dark reddish-brown. Pressed flat against the painted drywall in a cluster. Not a single print but many, overlapping, as if someone small had pressed both hands repeatedly against that wall over a period of time. I crouched down and looked more closely. The color. The texture. The way it had dried and darkened against the white paint. Blood. My first thought was Noah. Children injure themselves constantly, a cut finger, a scraped knee, small bleeds that happen and are forgotten. Maybe he had hurt his hand and pressed it against the wall without telling me. Perfectly possible. Completely explainable. Then I looked more carefully at the size of the prints. Noah has small hands, 5 years old, fine-boned, delicate. I know the size of his hands the way only a parent does. I have traced them on paper for birthday cards. I know exactly how they look. These handprints were larger than Noah's. Not by much, maybe a year or two's growth worth of difference. But the proportions were different too. The fingers longer relative to the palm. The spread wider. These were not Noah's hands. I called my mother and asked her to keep Noah for another hour. I sat in the middle of his bedroom floor and looked at his closet and tried to think rationally. Another child had been in Noah's closet. That was the most logical explanation. A playdate that I hadn't supervised closely enough. A neighborhood child. Someone from school. Children roughhouse, children bleed, children do strange impulsive things like pressing bloody hands against walls for reasons that make complete sense to them and zero sense to adults. When Noah came home, I asked him, as casually as I could, if any of his friends from school had ever been in his room. He said no. I asked if anyone else had ever been in his closet. He looked at me for a moment. Then he said, "That's where Edgar comes in from." I kept my voice completely steady. I asked him what he meant. "There's a way through in the back of the closet," he said. "Behind where you keep the blankets. Edgar comes through there. He told me not to tell you because he said you'd make him go away." He paused. "Mommy. Edgar really doesn't want to go away." I checked the back wall of the closet thoroughly after Noah was in bed. I knocked on it, pressed against it, ran my hands across every inch of it. Solid drywall. No gaps, no loose sections, nothing that could serve as an entry point. But in the corner, low down near the baseboard, fresh prints over the dried ones. Made since I had looked that afternoon. Something had been there while I was putting Noah to bed. I called a contractor the next morning. He came that afternoon and opened up the back wall of the closet. Behind it was a crawl space. A narrow, low-utility passage that ran along the back of the house and connected to the exterior through a vent. Standard construction in older homes, he said. Usually sealed with wire mesh. The mesh on the exterior vent had been removed. Recently, based on the condition of the screws. Someone had been accessing my house through the crawl space. Getting into my son's closet. In a space low enough and narrow enough that an adult could not fit, but a child could. The police searched the crawl space and the area around the exterior vent. They found signs of habitation, old food wrappers, a thin blanket, a small battery-powered torch. They found a child's shoe, size 2, worn nearly through. They found, scratched into the wood of the crawl space wall in small unsteady letters, a single word. A name. Edgar. The investigation is ongoing. Whoever Edgar is, whatever his situation, wherever he came from, he has not been found. The vent has been sealed with steel mesh and a secondary lock. Noah's closet has a new door with a lock that Noah cannot open from inside. Noah has not mentioned Edgar since the crawl space was discovered. Not once. He simply stopped talking about him, the way children sometimes stop talking about things when they sense the adults around them are frightened. But 2 nights ago he came into my room at 3 a.m. He climbed into my bed and put his arms around me the way he does when he's had a bad dream, and he whispered into my shoulder. I almost didn't hear it. Edgar says he found a new way in.
Children see things adults have learned not to see. Next time a child tells you about their imaginary friend, ask them what it looks like. Ask them where it sleeps. Subscribe for a new AI horror story every single day. Tell me in the comments, what would you do if your child said that?